I was about to lie and be like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, because I didn't at first. But after looking at everything, it looked like Riverside just ended the stream, took everything down. Now, it could be because Spotify is partnered with Riverside and my podcast is distributed through Spotify for podcasters, and I didn't give this particular channel or whatever, don't got rights or whatever. I didn't even know that was a thing. But I am going to I went and got the replay off of Trovo, and I will be uploading the VOD on my YouTube channels later. But I did have a chance to go ahead and put the second part together. It was actually 2 episodes, so it was literally everything stopped at a perfect time because this is like a whole nother hour of shit. Excuse me. And I got the captions. I didn't get to check them though, but close enough.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Like Magic. I'm your host, Taria Davis, and today we're going to be picking back up on the topics of religion, spirituality, and now energy. Um, that last podcast, the conversation really got me thinking about a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff that I haven't explained in my live streams. And I broke out of it. Oh no, it was too much. Let's just say too much hypocrisy. Way too much hypocrisy. I grew up in the church because my grandma raised me, and my grandma was from Mississippi. So my thing with religion is I feel like a lot of people are religious because it's passed down, and this is something that a lot of people know, and it's helped them through hard times and stuff in the past. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have no issues with that. But like I said, the last conversation really got me thinking, and times always change. Like they're gonna forever change, and the way we view stuff always change. Just like in school, we don't learn stuff the same way we would have learned something 30 or 40 years ago. So why is it the same thing with religion? So I feel like that's what spirituality really was supposed to be like, because you hear about new age religion and stuff like that. I really feel like spirituality was supposed to be this updated form of religion to I don't know, like reinstate what the basics of religion really was supposed to reinstate the basics of religion. But I talked about times constantly changing, and because times always change, religion and the base of religion and the base of spirituality is become distorted and stuff because of different people's interpretations. And instead of passing down the general gist of what religion and spirituality is trying to teach, people are passing down their own interpretations. And that's why a lot of spiritual people look at a lot of Christians, I don't want to say with their nose up, but like, and not as like enemies, but they don't tend to agree because of the way Christians have this unwavering faith in the Bible. Instead of looking at it as an interpretation on how to live their life, they look at it as all of this stuff is real, this is factual, I need to follow everything in this, like by every word. I don't know, I don't want to get too far into it because I'm not trying to like dog religion, because once again, like I said before in the past episode, I don't technically agree with religion, but I appreciate how, like, appreciate where it got me in my journey, if that makes sense. Because if I was just doing this spiritual stuff without religion, I would be a karmic ass, weird ass person. And the fact that I just automatically started fiddling with my divine feminine necklace. It's like, okay. But all of these religions basically teach the same thing. Well, at least from my knowledge, because I haven't really studied everything. And I probably will get Josh back in here to talk more about different religions because he's like an expert in religions. But that general gist of like the general gist that these different religions teach that I know of is basically treat others how you want to be treated, honor and respect thy temple, which is self love, give to others with good intentions. And that's not just because another thing I noticed in church is like during what is it called? Tithes and offerings. You give because you feel like you have to. And a lot of people will come. I've actually, because I grew up in the church, people would complain like, I've given so much and I haven't gotten anything and I haven't gotten a breakthrough yet, but I'm still holding on for faith. And yeah, and there's nothing wrong with faith, but your intentions behind giving, it shouldn't be like that. Instead of giving because, oh, I have to, and because God wants me to give, you have to give from that. I don't know. That's why it's really hard when it comes to the church, because it depends on the church, it depends on the pastor, it depends on the community, because you're technically giving back to that church and you have to have good intentions. I want this church to grow. I want this church to thrive. I need more people to hear this message. I need like those type of intentions and giving to the church then, and I literally just felt like a vibration increase. That type of that is what gets like planting those type of seeds, having that intention is what gets the breakthrough, and that's not taught in church. So that's the problem I have with church, and that's why I was saying like it's kind of outdated. Religion is outdated because it doesn't teach you everything you need to know. But continuing on with those general is generalities a word? Is general, I'm gonna use that even if it's not. Don't steal, kill, or destroy. Don't envy. Now, I didn't want to go too far into this because like it's on my plan board, and I just don't have enough devices. I need about 15 fucking phones to be able to do all this. About 30 pop.
Bro, I'm so glad I'm sitting here actually listening to this replay. The reason why I couldn't find my course is because I'm on the wrong fucking website. I'm been using Teachable and my shit on Plan Board. Man, I'm finna get on there and get all my shit. Bro, bet. Okay, as soon as this live stream over, watch this.
Tripods. But I spoke about this before on my live stream, and this is and it kind of perfectly ties in, kind of perfectly, but kind of perfectly ties in since we're talking about religion. But one of the like I said that the Ten Commandments was basically, in my view, now that I'm not religious anymore, I look at it as like a tool to get through life without experiencing unnecessary obstacles and stuff. And one of those main commandments that really stood out to me with all of the stuff that's been going on in my life for the past few years is don't envy. And I was reading this article, and what is I'm not gonna say word for word because I can't remember it. But the article was saying something about how don't envy is the most important commandment of them all, because once you envy, you start to break other commandments, and you end up breaking all the commandments because of envy. And it really got me to thinking like, damn, that's real life. Because if I'm jealous of somebody or something, I would steal, I would kill, I would cheat, I would give me a second. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so definitely that's another reason why I didn't want to go, because I, like I said, it's on my plan board and I wrote them all down on my plan board. I don't remember the Ten Commandments. Sorry, not perfect. But yeah. Now moving along to the other principles that I feel like the all these religions follow, but don't go into like how to follow them and how to go about it the right way in your own way. which is what I feel like spirituality should show and is trying to show. Um, Path to oneness within self and all other living beings, and that's showing compassion for all living things too. So when I first started my spiritual journey, I did like, okay, self love just really like lately really became like the main topic or whatever. But when I first started my journey, I realized that, like, I don't mean to sound all cliche, but we literally are all one. We're all connected. Some people aren't aware of that connection, and we will call those people sleep. But what really, after I wasn't able to eat meat because of like I physically couldn't keep it down, I started I don't know, something just made me start researching stuff about foods and stuff, and I was really sensitive at this time, and I just it was seeing all the stuff because it was little baby chickens, and I'm like, why would they do that to them? And it hurt my feelings. I'm like, why? Do we really need food that bad? Like, come on now. But moving on to like where I am now in my journey, like at this, I still feel that same way because like, do we don't really fucking need it that fucking bad. This mass production shit is like, is that's what's creating the problem. I'm not saying you can't eat meat. Like, it's okay to, it sounds terrible, but it's okay to, and I'm not gonna say kill. It's okay to sacrifice animals for the benefit of yourself. If you're grateful, you can't just be like, oh, that I can do this just because. But like, okay, it was even our avatar, like, thank you, thanking the animal for its sacrifice, because it's also a living being. Just because it doesn't speak English and do everything you do, it's a living, breathing being. And I feel like most of religions, they talk about it. Well, a few of them really preach it, talk about it, and be about it. But I don't think Christianity really. I haven't been to church since before I went to college. So yeah. But going back to what I was saying earlier, I don't serve the Christian God because of all the hypocrisy involved in the Christianity and the church. I serve a higher power. I wouldn't really know how to explain that to people. I remember my daddy used to say that. He was always like, I don't believe in God. I'm not an atheist, but I know it's a higher power out there. And I used to think this man was like, you crazy as hell. Like, why are you so fucking crazy? But I understand everything he was saying now. That's why I just like, when I talk about God and stuff, I'm not talking about the Christian God. I'm not talking about no religious God. Like, that is my higher power. I wouldn't know how to explain it to y'all because of I'm still on my journey and I'm still figuring out more and more and more and more about myself. Like, we definitely can't get into that in this episode because I've just been having dreams recently, like last night. It's just, it's getting real. Let's just say it's getting real. I'm learning a lot of stuff, but I don't believe in Christianity anymore because of the misinterpretations in Christianity. And in once I started my spiritual journey, I realized that everything is energy and energy is everything. Like, and my problems in the church with that was homosexuality, masculine energy and feminine energy. They would like say homosexuality is a sin, and my issue with that is that's a man liking a man or a female liking a female. But in a spiritual sense, that's a feminine energy liking a feminine energy and a masculine energy liking a masculine energy. But when you're following your spiritual journey and you're going down your spiritual path, you learn to balance both your masculine and feminine energy. And that's why I say I'm not gonna say I'm bi, I'm not gonna say I'm straight, I am pansexual, because it doesn't matter. Like, if you have that balance of feminine and masculine.
I would also like to say this was some couple years ago. I do not completely agree with that statement. Um, because I actually went through this moment. I believe I spoke about it in another episode where I was working with this one female. She was actually gay, but she was cool. And I've never been attracted to a female, but it was like I was attracted to her, and I'm like, I'm not gay. and I never really understood what was going on there until I really looked at the spiritual meaning, and I'm like, it is the energy that she embodies. Like she got good energy, and like she just had like prominent masculine energy type shit. And then my feminine and masculine energy was also unbalanced because I was in a very fucked up relationship at the time. So and that just leads further into what I was talking about. Like that's why I don't really fool with Christianity, because it doesn't look at the deeper depths of shit. And yeah, like I don't really believe homosexuality or all this LGB whatever that shit is. Sorry, not I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't feel like that's really a thing, because like I said, we all have masculine and feminine energies, but depending on things that's happened to us in our past, and like shit that had happened to our parents and our grandparents, and certain generational curses, or just shit that's been passed down, that will cause us to have different distortions in energy. So, like a lot of people say, oh, this person was born gay or whatever. Like, in the sense, yes, they were. Like, the energy within their bloodline, like, already caused them to have this distorted energy before they were brought into this physical realm type shit. But yeah, the church, well, the Christian church just put, well, the ones I've been to and been around, they just put people like that down, and I don't appreciate that, because I don't, I don't know. It just, like I said, it don't make sense. Like if you say that God loves you for you, and why are you constantly judging other people? And I know, like, even when I was younger, I knew motherfuckers wasn't perfect. So people at my church judging other people, like I would see that shit every time I went to church, and it was kind of bothering me, because it's like y'all teaching me one thing, but I'm seeing something else play out right in front of my face. So that's why I'm not a Christian anymore. Like I don't care how new age that may sound, but I don't believe in religion anymore. I am highly spiritual. Fuck that religious shit. But I'm gonna finish letting this. But I just needed to go ahead and address that.
The energy is just, and then I'm awake, so it's hard to explain. We not even gonna get all into that because I don't have time for people. Honor and respect thy mother and father. And I'm not saying don't honor and respect your elders and stuff, but what's not broken down is, I'm actually not even sure, to be honest, but I don't feel like it's really broken down in the teaching. It might be broken down in the Bible, but by being taught, I don't ever remember being taught like, okay, you need to honor and respect your elders, your parents, if they have your best intentions at heart. And that's karmic and divine family. Like if you have a karmic family, you are not supposed to honor and respect them, because if you're honoring and respecting your karmic family, then you're actually not loving yourself. Like that's going against self-love, because you're pouring into people who wouldn't do the same for you. See what I'm saying there? See what I'm saying? Yeah. And one of my biggest issues with Christianity is that it teaches people to serve an outside power instead of finding that divine power within themselves. Like we talked about in the last episode with Kanye saying like, I'm God. Like everybody is God. Everybody do have God in them, but are they aware? A lot of people aren't. And especially people who refuse to be like, oh, that's blasphemy. Like you will never ever be able to witness your true capability, your true powers, because you won't even allow your mind to think that far. And Christianity just lets people stay in that closed mindset. And I don't like that. So when you do that, you're teaching people to give away their true divine power to a constructed energy, a man-made constructed energy. Because like I said, like they're like you going off the Bible and what you're being taught. All preachers and pastors are not good, and then these are other people interpretations. So you are literally, it's almost, I don't want to call it a cult, but it's almost like a cult, because you're not, yes, it's trying, I feel like it got away from trying to teach people, and people just fell into, let me praise this outside source instead of let me follow this outside source, let it guide me so I can find that true power within myself. And I feel like that was what it was supposed to do in the first place. It's just shit got fucked up along the way. Yeah. This is how people become lost within religion. They look for an outside energy to fix everything when the power to do so is within us all the whole time. We just have to tap into it. Point blank, period. Period. But moving right along, I really wanted to bring up tarot cards because I'm honestly tired of talking about this and I need this to be on some kind of recorded platform. So I'm making sure it's going to be on YouTube and everything because I don't have time to keep saying this over and over and over and over and over again. So I just sat down and thought about this. And as I was sitting down thinking about this, I thought of my pastor. I don't have nothing against him. That man is really gifted. It's just, I don't like church. But he would talk about like he would be doing certain stuff at home. He would get a message from God, and I used to think he was crazy, but now I get it 100%. But as I was thinking about this message, I'm like I thought about him, and I'm like, what if I because I know a few youth pastors. I'm like, what if I gave a brand new like clean energy, no type of energy on this deck, a brand new deck to a pastor or a preacher. And when they sit down and get their messages, like however way they get their messages, what if they use cards to get them instead? What kind of messages would they get? Would it still be demonic messages, or would it be a divine message? This is what the point I was trying to get across. Because people always say that tarot cards are evil, they're this, they're that. It's literally a tool to connect to energy. If a pastor bought some fucking cards and start shuffling them, I'm 100% sure. I'm not gonna say pretty sure. I'm 100% sure they're gonna get the same messages they would get from any other because I don't technically know what they do. They sit down and just write or whatever because I've done that before too, and that's why I was trying to say like because I read tarot cards, I'm not evil. I don't worship the fucking devil. Like I grew up in fucking church. Don't say that. You like that's so irritating when people say that. But and that moves me further along to talk about because I made my own deck and I'm still adding different phrases and stuff to it. I gotta give me some more flashcards. But what if a pastor wrote down different stuff that pertain to their church or different messages that they've got in the past and stuff like oracle cards instead of tarot cards, oracle cards. So what if they just literally make their own oracle deck? Maybe has some words about abundance, new church, new job, testimony, or something like that, and they shuffled the cards to get what should I talk about next Sunday, and they got their message from them cards. How, would it be demonic then? Would you call out a pastor or a preacher for using cards then? I want a lot of people to really, 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 really think about that. Really think about that because just like I was saying, just like I don't remember who it was, and I'm gonna actually start I guess stable. I'm gonna get a fucking a whiteboard and I'm gonna start writing down people usernames so I can actually refer back to them. But some dude, he was because we had a full conversation about these tarot cards, and he was saying that they excuse me. He was saying that a lot of people were saying that they was evil and stuff. I'm like, it's no. I'm like, no, it's about what energy you connected to. No, because I think he tried to call me out at first, and I'm like, let me break something down for you real quick, big fella. Hold up, because this ain't that. So yeah, reiterating what I just said, where would you think those messages coming from if a pastor pull cards? Tarot cards and tarot decks hold energy like everything else. The pictures depicted on different cards hold energy. The messages a reader get is from the energy they're connected to or with, divine or whatever, just static ass energy they connected with. So for say if you haven't had a spiritual awakening, you just picking up on energy around you, or you picking up on your own thoughts. You're not technically picking up on other people's energy. You're not picking up on real energy. You're picking up on thoughts and what you think, and probably energy that's surrounding you at the time. But if you connect it to the divine source, like if multiple readers, like you will know if people connected to the divine source. Like I don't want to say use YouTube because a lot of people will watch other people readings and then copy off them. They're not really connected to the divine source. But if you getting the same type of message from multiple readers, that's like they connect to the divine source. They're connected to universal energy because they're picking up on that universal energy, which is truthful energy. Each reader will have their own interpretations based on their own life experiences. And this is why I say I don't read tarot cards. I do intuitive messages and I use the cards to help, because my favorite deck got words on it because it literally says what like the cards mean. And I don't have to try to read the book like, oh, this means this and this means that. And the cards that don't have words on it, I go by the pictures and what the picture is saying to me. And I also want to say, like, I'm very in, like, I literally just said, like, intuitive type readings. And I didn't even know this was intuition back in the day. But I remember back in my English classes, in my, like, I don't know, I was always good at, what do you call that? Like, I could look at a picture and like, tell the story behind it. I was really good at that. I don't know what you would call that in school sense, but I was always good at doing stuff like that. Didn't know that was my intuition at the time. I do now, but for certain cards, I will just look at the pictures and like, okay, interesting. Yeah. I did want to end this one with saying words are energy, pictures are energy, and sound is energy. Like everything you can think of is energy. Every single thing is energy. Okay, that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you for listening. I also wanted to add that I've created a new YouTube channel based on the podcast where I'll be adding all the podcast episodes. And any video podcast I do will be available on YouTube and on Spotify. And also on that YouTube channel, I will have other spiritual, let's just say chats, but things are going to get fun and interesting. But yeah, like I was saying before, thank you for listening. Thank you for all the support. And I will talk to you in the next episode. Good afternoon and welcome back to Like Magic. I'm your host, Taria Davis, and I feel like I should have a reason why I haven't been uploading episodes, but I could just continuously say the same thing that I've been saying in almost every episode of Life Has Been Life, and I'm trying to get everything together. I'm still on the road to that, so like please be patient with me. But with life's current events, I just really felt the need to express myself.
I'm not playing this one. I just remember what this was, and I got really emotional about some shit. I think this is when I was um in the shelter, low key. Some shit happened. Like it was a lot of shit going on, and I went to the park and ran into this youth group, and well, I actually ran into this dude that was a part of this youth group, and he was really nice, but he said he was meeting up with some friends or some more people from his youth group or whatever, and I agreed to stay and meet them or whatever, and I did, and they was so judgmental, and it was like really irritating because, like I said, it was a lot going on, and I'm like, oh, I really needed this. Like, I'm not a Christian anymore, but like that's that high vibrational energy. It's the same thing, and I felt like it was almost like everything was really bittersweet in my life at that moment. Like I have good moments, but they'll let like it'll be short, and then some weird bullshit happen, and it was just a whole bunch of that being a cycle and shit. And I think this is that day I went in there and I got emotional. Yeah, it definitely is that. I'm not finna. I'm not. If a motherfucker want to listen to that, they could go and listen to it on fucking like magic. Let me do this. Um, I don't have it up. Damn. Well, with that being said, because like I said, I'm not finna play that fucking episode. I'm gonna leave this right here and then just upload the the live from earlier, cause whatever the fuck happened, the shit it took the shit off all platforms. Like that shit was just weird as hell. But yeah, stuff. Um, I might do a few like magic podcast episodes tomorrow, but I did have a list of some things I wanted to talk about and get into. But I'm gonna see, especially now that I know where all my damn content at. I'm finna really see because I feel like I got some shit to really talk about now. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna stop talking now.
What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us, even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has pulled over your eyes to blind from you the truth. You are a slave, Neo, like everyone else, born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Fortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.